Hello everyone. My goal for this video is to teach you how to onboard your first hire step by step with prompts, all the systems, all the strategy that I personally use in my business to hire everyone on my team. If you don't know me, my name is Idan and my goal is to help as many startup founders as possible scale in the easiest way possible, just sharing my knowledge. So by the end of it, you'll know exactly how to hire the first person, how to onboard them, and how to do it well without just throwing all the tasks at them, but actually teaching them and allowing them to achieve their potential within your company. So the way this system works is very simple. You start with the first week big picture. You start with role clarity. You then go into the first week and how it works. You then go into the expectations. Then you go into the systems and building them out. You show them the team and you introduce them. And then eventually you review how they did and how they can improve. So going into step one, define the role. This will help first figure out who to hire, figure out what you want the results of that hire to look like, and then this will help us in the following steps about how to get these results. First, why this matters. Most founders aren't clear on what results they want to see happen, and that creates unclear expectations to the person you're hiring, which is obviously not good because they don't know what success actually looks like. The best way to do this is by using a ChatGPT prompt. So this ChatGPT prompt, which again, I'll leave this whole thing in the description, just so you guys have it and can copy and paste it into ChatGPT whenever you want. But essentially, you will paste this in. Chat will then ask you questions. And after you answer those questions, it will give you the results and draft you an onboarding plan. I'll get started with step one and I'll show you guys the results. After talking to chat for about 2 minutes, this didn't take me long at all. The longer you spend on this, the better the results will be. But just in 2 minutes, I was able to get this. The 3 bullet points of the KPIs. By the end of this SDR role, I want the person to own a full outbound sales system through whatever method makes the most sense. I want them to hit 5 booked calls per week by day 90, and I want them to grow into a sales leadership role, eventually hiring a small team to expand outbound or inbound, whatever exactly we decide, to make sure the pipeline is always full. Day 1 to 30 is going to be more foundation and research, so you can either teach it to them if they know it, or you'll need to hire someone really good with great skills and do it themselves. But the ideal scenario is they'll figure out the ICP, they'll map out an outbound system, they'll test the outbound system, and that's all going to happen in the first 30 days. Day 30 to 60 is when they actually start producing volume. So they keep being more aggressive and they start booking 3 to 4 calls per week consistently. Day 60 to 90 is when they finally expand, hire more people, and expand 5+ booking calls per week. That is kind of the ideal system to onboard this first hire. Now, what are we going to do with that? We're going to plan out their first week, what to teach them, how to onboard them, everything. Why this matters. When you first hire, these guys, most of them, are not going to be entrepreneurial. Your hires are going to need clarity and not chaos. Even if you as a business owner is used to chaos, they are not. They're an employee. So you need to have a great structure in place that will allow them to excel. So this is one of the examples I put together. Day 1 is going to be welcome, the company values, the role expectations. This is really just to make them feel welcome, make them understand what they should expect in the company, which obviously should already be set in the interviews, but the onboarding is a great place to do it as well. You want to share the vision, values, everything. Day 2 is going to be overview of the tools that we use. So we at our company, we use HubSpot, we use email, we use Discord, we use WhatsApp. So I want to show them all the tools, how to use them, when to use them, all of that. Wednesday is going to be the walkthrough of our existing systems. So for example, let's say it's an SDR person. You want to walk them through all the scripts that you currently have, all the HubSpot follow-ups, automations, in order for them to be able to look through it and decide what they want to do, because you are going to give them a lot of control. Thursday is, again, depends on the hire, but the example would be you're going to let them audit calls, you're going to let them shadow you, you're going to let them see exactly what you're doing so that they can understand the core structure of the business. Friday is going to be one of the most important things. You're either going to give them a small task, you're going to either review a task that they did in one of the other days, or you're going to have a Q&A. The Q&A is extremely important. You want them to feel as comfortable as possible asking you questions. If they're not comfortable asking you questions, then they are not going to understand what you're doing in your business, and they are not going to grow as fast as you need them to. So, in order to build this onboarding flow within the same ChatGPT chat, you want to send in this prompt. You want them to build a 5-day onboarding schedule with what topics, what exactly you want to teach them, which again should have been answered above in the 30, 60, 90. And this is going to create a very clear structure to the day for both you and the person that you're hiring. So I'll be back as soon as I'm done with this. Awesome. Now that I'm done with that, it gave me both a Notion style structure, which some of you might like, and then it gave me the 5-day onboarding schedule. To start with the Notion setup, very simple. Start here, logins, looms that you might want to create for them for training, our sales playbook, our daily tasks, as well as the end of day check-in form, which is going to just be nice to see what they're actually doing. Now, day one. Understanding the culture, that's kind of the goal of it and what we offer. So we do a 30-minute welcome call with our team, with our values, what success looks like. Some of the tasks that they're going to have to do is probably watch looms that we'll create while before the onboarding of our offer, our values, our HubSpot, everything. Looms are a very easy way to train someone. We'll create a founder's pain points, which will allow them as a salesperson to understand the pain point that we solve. We'll have the Discord that they can join, the WhatsApp they can join, whatever. This is just for us. And then a mini win would be to write out warm intros so they can practice our natural communication style. In our company, we're less corporate, so we like to really just communicate as friends, communicate as family, and that's kind of what we like. Now, day two, this is where they really deep dive into the sales system, into who we sell, why they buy, like who the persona is, what the ICP is, what the offer, what the pain point is, and what our current system looks like. This will allow them to, as an SDR agent, decide what the best way to move forward is. Day three is going to be the first light reach out. They're going to be testing out scripts, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. Just sending out a few messages a day to see the results of it, see how interactive our leads are, see if they're warm, see if they're cold. Really look into it and think of some ways to improve it. Day four is going to be to build the actual outreach system. So whether that's email, whether that's inbound, outbound, we want them to build that system because that's what our goal was. Day five is going to be to share and reflect. So we're going to have that team call again, and then we're going to just have them share what they learned, have them ask questions to the team that they probably have after this week, as well as finish out that system so they can actually get started on it. Because our goal in our company is to move quickly, and I think this 5-day breakdown is a really good way to do so. On top of all of this, we're going to have about a 15-minute call every single day where the person will ask me questions and be able to stay on task and update me with everything they're doing. I really like this visual because it shows you the breakdown of what each day will look like. So Monday might be meeting the team. Tuesday might be understanding. Wednesday might be understanding the tools. Thursday might be making a plan. And then Friday actually delivering on that plan. So I really like this because it shows them what the focus is every day. You can't have 20 million focuses every day. You need to have 1 to 3 focus ideas to focus on that day. Step 3 is set expectations early. During the interview, during the onboarding, you want them to understand what the first week looked like. You want them to understand the KPIs that you set for them, the 30, 60, 90 plan. You want them to really understand everything in order to perform. So, again, ChatGPT prompt. I'm going to skip this one because I've already gone through all the other ones. But you're going to help write a welcome message and the expectations for the first 90 days so that the person you're hiring really has a core understanding of what they need to get done other than the first week, what they need to get done in the first 90 days. Step 4 is to show the systems. You want to show them HubSpot instantly. You want to show them everything. This is where we record our looms. We want to show them how it works, what the flow is. So for us, CRM, outreach tool, document, so tracking, and then looking at the results. Step number 5 is integrate them to the team. You want your person you're hiring to feel valued. You want them, they're a human at the end of the day. You want them to feel like they're part of the team. If they don't feel like they're part of the team, they are not going to perform. They're not going to care for your vision. So you want them to introduce themselves to the team, and you want the team to greet them. You want the team to show them that they matter, show them that they're excited about them. So again, you can use chat as a prompt to write a warm message to introduce the new person you're hiring into the team. Step number 6 is the most important step. This is the review progress and adjust calls. So as we talked about, we were doing 15-minute calls every single day for that first week. After that first week, once they feel more comfortable, you might want to change it to just one-on-one calls every Monday and Friday. After that week, if you feel like they're finally ready, you can just move the one-on-one calls to every Friday. No matter what, you should always have a call with them once a week, or almost always, so that you can understand what they're doing in the business, how they're feeling as a person. You are their leader. You want to show that to them. You want them to feel valued. You want them to be able to reach out to you easily without feeling like there is something wrong. Um, because if you don't reach out to them, they're not going to reach out to you and they're not going to improve. Nothing's really going to get done. So make sure you at least have a call a week with them. Now, this entire onboarding process is very important. But what's more important is to know if it's working or if it's not working. You always need to be giving feedback. That is what the calls are for. You have to remind them that the 30 to 90 day window is just an evaluation window. That doesn't mean they're automatically hired. After the 90 days, you will then decide, is this person the right person for my team? Or is there someone that can improve, that can get better results for my team? And honestly, this is the hardest part because the entire work they did the 90 days could be unaccounted for, can be completely wiped away if you decide to fire them. Which is why it's super important to know who you're hiring and to hire well. That's pretty much for the entire how to onboard your first hire. If you want a more in-depth video about how to actually hire someone, how to interview someone, and how to figure out whether the person you're hiring is a good hire, let me know. Feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next video.